Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today and we're talking about brand new DLC that's hitting Skyrim here in 2024, and it's actually really good, and in fact so good that I guarantee if I loaded this into your save file, handed you the controller, told you this was vanilla Skyrim, you would not realize that this is a brand new part of the game that's been so naturally incorporated into the overall experience. This is a brand new creation that arrives from Kingath Creations. This is the team that brought us Sim Settlements, one of the best ever mods in the Bethesda Game Studios community. This is a team that formed with the exact ideals that I've talked a lot about as we led into those rumors about creations hitting Skyrim. When I talked about this, I said how Skyrim's creations would open up a door where people would be able to make full-on development teams that could provide really unique experiences in Bethesda Game Studios games, all of what you see in Minecraft with mod packs or full-on games being made in something like Roblox. I know those aren't like the sexiest comparisons, it's not the biggest sales pitch, but the idea is there that people can make a living off of making really great content for Skyrim, for Fallout, so long as it's high quality. And if you needed a sales pitch on the potential, not saying you gotta love it, but the potential of what great creations can do in Skyrim, then what you get here for $10 with the Bard's College expansion is downright insane to me. It targets one of the biggest weaknesses in Skyrim, one of its few weaknesses might I add, which is the Bard's College. Originally just a single quest line of getting Olaf's verse has now been turned into a sprawling faction just like all the others in Skyrim that you would find. It's there, you'll talk to other professors, you'll start to evolve different gameplay mechanics, there are different ways to progress your character. Like, it's truly so impressive and absolutely hands down, bar none, the best creation I've ever played. If there was any cherry on top I could give you before we get really into the thick of things here, it's that the Bard's College expansion brings back OG voice actors from vanilla Skyrim to reprise their roles for certain parts of this creation. It's downright awesome. And like I said, if I handed you the controller with this loaded in, I think you'd be none the wiser that this is brand new content in a good way. It's so effortlessly woven into the main story, into other factions, the way it interacts with the entirety of the game. It's so well done. And you have about 10 hours of content just sitting here. And for 10 bucks, if you love Skyrim, I think this is an absolute steal. I did not expect in 2024, although I should know better by this point in time, I did not expect in 2024 to be sitting down all day for a day playing Skyrim, but it was such a wonderful journey. And it also works really well with a brand new save file. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into the latest and greatest in Skyrim, consider subscribing. Let's begin at the top. So for me, I had this save file from when I did a video about Skyrim Together, and that was a mod that really brought multiplayer into Skyrim. Now, when I loaded this up here, I was about level 10 from that start of the playthrough until the, unfortunately, mod bugged out on us and we could not continue going further. I didn't know that, and there's a whole story about how I was pretty much jumping around quest objectives in High Hrothgar to ensure that I could actually play the rest of this creation. I really got into the thick of it there, but I actually managed to bypass a broken quest line from Skyrim Together and continue my playthrough into this whole Bard's College expansion. But yes, it does require you to get the Thume, which is a big part of this questline because bards are silver-tongued, and that's what a lot of this is about. But I say all this to tell you that as someone who was hopping into a fresh game save file, some of these quests involve you going out into the world, finding certain items for people who are part of the Bard's College, like they're looking for loots or they're looking for their drum, and you'll find these for them. And so it allows you to do the one thing that Skyrim does really well by design, which is gradually inch your way through the map. So as someone who didn't have many map markers, I was going back to the carriage, going to all the different holds, hitting a couple of locations on the way, and then getting to my objective. Like, it just, again, weaves itself really well into a new file if that's what you're looking to do. It weaves itself really well into an already existing playthrough where you can just zip around and get through it much quicker than I did. But as for the new content here, again, first and foremost, I just gotta let you all know this is fully voiced. All the new NPCs, all the quest lines fully voiced. This is pretty surprising for Skyrim because I know with Starfield creations, my expectations are really high. Fallout 4, my expectations are the lowest, and Skyrim finds itself in the middle. When we look at what we got with Anniversary Edition with things like Forgotten Seasons, we saw really big, ambitious dungeon projects, but when it came to adding new quests, you may remember with some of the Anniversary Edition content that got given away for free, is that you would find voiceless NPCs. And it's there you could feel like, this is a creation. And it lowered the tier of quality. But here, the voice acting is absolutely a statement. All of it professionally done. And honestly, as someone who's played a ton of Skyrim, kind of nice to hear a few different voices. Not only that, but they've even augmented existing content. So you actually have a follower, a companion that will join you on certain parts of your Bard's College expansion questline, including the vanilla one with Olaf's verse. Like, she has now been woven completely into this questline, and she can even, for example, unlock a door for you by teaching you in a mini tutorial how to look at like the ruby claw to open the door, which you already know how to do probably by this point in time, but I just found the effort level there cool. It absolutely enhanced the dungeon I've already done before a million times, and to see the interactions and the reactions to things happening there, again, it felt like I was seeing the potential of what creations could do to even just enhance pre-existing content in the story. Now, one thing that's really interesting about the story here is they're suggesting that there are other ways to learn shouts, the Thu'um, and that maybe it's not just the Dragonborn who knows how to do all this stuff. As someone who's never been really gripped by Skyrim's overall narrative, but actually enjoyed some of the faction storylines, I would say this Bard's College expansion falls perfectly in that pocket of, I found this more compelling than a lot of other storytelling elements of the game. In fact, it was so good, like in my head, I'm like, this gotta be canon. Like, this is so good. So I don't want to get too deep into the story because I think that's important for you to experience and kind of be wowed by again, the effort level that's on display for this creation. You know, it's so funny to look at the $7 creation that was in Starfield, which, yeah, it was like a 20-minute quest, versus the $10 creation here, where it's like $1 per hour pretty much at this point. Like, really great bang for your buck here. But what else do you get? Well, like I mentioned, you're gonna get augmentations to your shouts. And this is something that you unlock a little bit ways into the Bard's College. So now they're evolving how shouts can function. There are also ways in dungeons where these shouts will interact with objects where they're more puzzle focused, which is really cool to see. So now it's not just the same tried and true, like, hey, it's a fish, an eagle, and a wolf. It's like, no, it's actually gonna challenge you to explore these dungeons a little bit differently and use your head in different ways, which, as someone who's played hundreds of hours of Skyrim, great to see here. It's really refreshing. One of my favorite things, though, is how much this DLC leans into dialogue. I was really happy with how they played with the Bard Silver Tongue. One thing you can do in this mod is have a duel of wit, and pretty much it's smack talking. For my Sly Cooper fans out there, this reminds me a bit of the pirates smack talking one another in the pirate level for Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. Like, I love that part of the game, and I was thinking of it here, where you're just going back and forth, trading blows. There's an elegance to how you can trash talk someone. You want to typically pick the answers that rhyme. There's also different little submissions that you can do for different professors around the Bard's College. So one, you can be an emissary for, and you can go out and do missions for her, where you're going to gradually listen to what people are saying to try to get some information out of them and then go back to her. It was an interesting way of thinking of a bard, because to me, when I think of bards, I think of singing, playing instruments, very jovial, but this was more twisting the idea of a bard into kind of a silver tongue information trader. And so you can do a little bit of that and try to kind of coerce people into giving you information, and in turn, you are an emissary, which I just thought was super cool. So I enjoyed doing little fetch quests like that. There was one where you had to go collect everyone's instruments and you could learn how to play an instrument. There's brand new outfits. You finally get a full-on bard's outfit. And this was really cool to see because, and actually this is really cool to see. I got to throw this out here because it leads into my ultimate point, which is I, a couple of times, was checking on like wikis and stuff to remind myself, like, what's vanilla and what is this creation here? And I say all that because as I'm looking at Bard's College stuff, this was like the perfect creation to do, because I saw so many Reddit threads, forum posts, wiki posts of people just saying like, where's the Bard's College? Like, why isn't there enough Bard's College here? How do I roleplay as a bard? And that's one of the best things I can say about this creation is it does enable bard-like role-playing. In fact, there's a whole new currency called Bic Inspiration. So as you discover certain locations, as you complete certain quests, you'll get Bic Inspiration, which is this new currency that you can spend on like a new upgrade tree, and it'll be things like how quickly your skills progress, or how quickly like your mana and stamina recharge when you have a follower with you, like pretty much additional perks to the perk tree. So it's not just more content, it's evolving existing mechanics. Like it's evolving the shouts, it's evolving the story of the shouts, might I add, it's evolving the skill trees, it's adding new locations, it's adding new weapons and armor. Like, this is what we wanted, man. Like, if this is the vision for Bethesda Game Studios and their modders to deliver this kind of content, I could see myself just parking it on BGS games for a long while, more consistently than I already do. I get I do this for a living, and one of the primary companies I cover on this channel is BGS, so I'm a little more inclined to check their stuff out. But truly, if you're like me and you adore Skyrim, and I know for some people it's like sacrilege, just by principle, they can't support creations, but I feel like this is absolutely a must support if you can. And I say that because we want more of this. We want to send a message like, this is the quality of stuff that we should come to expect from this program, because this is the potential. This is the opportunity that's there for the people who made things like Sim Settlement to make a living off of this and give us really good content like this, fully voiced, like elevating their work to a whole other level. That's exciting, especially with, I would say, as someone who just tried to do the whole Fallout Vault 13 demo installation and epically failed at it for like 2 hours straight. The ease of installation, still to this day, as someone who mods their games a ton, is absolutely appreciated. I think is a little bit of a cherry on top for quality of life stuff there. It's definitely gotten easier for modding, but to have quality stuff like this for sale in creations, I just wanted to kind of shout from the rooftop how great of a time I had with the Bard's College expansion. It really is impressive, from the followers to the new equipment to the evolution of shouts to this new storyline that I legitimately found interesting. Like, I'm, as always, totally back into Skyrim. Like, all it takes is one little hook and I'm back in, and this might just do the trick for you. So I guess buyer beware, but shout out to King Gath Creations, man. They did something really special here. I hope they get aptly rewarded for this. I hope people go and check this thing out, because if you do love Skyrim, you will be impressed by how well this is woven into the game. Whether you have an old pre-existing file that you just want to bang this out, or you have a new save file or newer save file, I think you're going to find something here you really like. So go ahead, give it a look. Shout out to King Gath Creations. Shout out to the Bard's College expansion. Really good stuff on display here. Have you tried it out? Let me know down below. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.